Yogiraj Siddhanath was educated in Sherwood College, Nainital, where on September the 8th, 1962, he was awarded the Certificate of Courage for assisting in a drowning accident in the Nainital lake. And besides him was seated his swimming coach named Mr. Johnson. This is 60 years back. And they and a few others were besides us. They took a great risk for sending boys repeatedly to the bottom of the lake for 30 to 40 feet in rendering assistance in a drowning accident. That coach who was with me when I went 60 years ago is now sitting in front of me. His name is Mr. Johnson, and I'm so very, we are connected. This is the most important point. I'm sorry it was left out, because Sherwood and Sherwood College is connected with London and with England. And it is about Robin Hood, Alan a Dale, Friar Tuck, and Little John, which I wouldn't have said this in America, but in London this is necessary to say it. But this was the crucial, this was the linchpin of the whole talk, which however was ridden over. And he is here, and I want to personally give him a hand for being here after 60 years. Thank you. And attending, thank you so much. And attending this thing, who knows that after 60 years, for the first time I'm meeting my swimming coach and teacher. And he is here by God's grace, and it's a very fortunate thing that people of Sherwood Forest are collecting together here. And as he knows, I was in Allanadale, and we were swimming together, so these are good memories, and I'm very happy that he's here. However, now to get on with the book, then the next year in London, another incident was missed out in London. I had the good fortune to initiate a guest, an incognito guest of Queen Mary, and his name was His Majesty the Emperor of Ethiopia. I had initiated him in a place called Great Portland Street near the Savoy, am I right? Near the Savoy Hotel, there is the Great Portland Street. Is there a place called the Great Portland Street? Yes. So this was about over 30 years ago, so I don't know whether the name it's correct. And in front is the Savoy Hotel. And my grandmother used to come and stay here for about months together in the Savoy. For what, I do not know. But she used to come here in London and stay here. And I went and had a cup of tea then and never went back again, because it's very expensive. So these are fond memories of London, and our teachers were from London and England, and Mr. Derek Beeman and Mr. Watson and Mr. Eakins, and most of all our dear principal, a Welshman called Reverend Llewellyn. He was a Welshman, and he was very, very strict with us. I'm very thankful to him. I take this occasion to remember I floated off into this riviera of my memoirs, connecting us with London and with you people, because our teachers were British. And as you see, we can't do without poetry, because in this book here, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which is a special edition, it's a small little book. I tried to calculate the inner pocket of the lady's handbag, whether this would fit in, that it wouldn't tumble and become like this. So many ladies confirmed later that it fits into our bag and there's a little pocket. I do not know how far that is or what bag it is. However, so this is the book for you all. And this is a book. When I went to school, I also gave this talk. I was the chief guest at Sherwood, as Mr. Johnson sir knows. I said I've been educated, but one education has been lacking. And this is the outer education, the objective education was given by Sherwood College to me, and then the Ferguson College. But I gave a talk on the education of inner knowingness. And this is what this book is about. This book is lacking from the libraries. This education is lacking. It is the education of inner knowingness. I'm going to talk to you about this book it is so very important as to what we've missed. The education of inner knowingness. You see, let me tell you first, the word education comes from the Latin word called educare, bringing in the light. Bringing in the light. And this education does exactly that. It takes you to enlightenment, inner light, bringing in the light. Enlightenment means inner enlightenment. And it's about three things which people talk so glibly about, but they know so little of. Of course, this has trickled down, the mindfulness word has trickled down from old ancient books like this. This is called the Yoga Patanjali. These are the Sutras of Patanjali, written over 2,000 years, 200 years BC. And still nobody's been able to make corrections. They have differences of opinion, different ideologies, like I have stated in this, but every sutra is so accurate that it's a must read for everyone. From this I got out three things which I'm trying to teach, the education of inner knowingness. It has three things in it. Mindfulness. How many of you have heard of mindfulness? Okay. Well, this is the time, first time I'm going to really tell you what mindfulness is. Your version and what you all have taken it from the sutras, which went to the Buddhist teachings, and from the Buddhist teachings you got this mindfulness. If you want to know the source, it's from this book. The word mindfulness. The education of inner knowingness consists of three parts: mindfulness, soulfulness, and consciousness. I've given you a choreographic description so you'll know mindfulness is at the lowest level. Higher than that is soulfulness, and higher than that is consciousness. So the first state of inner education is to focus on your mind and try to calm the ripples of thoughts in your mind's lake. As long as there are ripples of thoughts in the lake of your mind, you cannot see the moon of your delight. That is your soul. Because if you go to any pond, let's say a little pond, on a full moon day, you can see the moon, but when you throw a pebble in the pond, there are a lot of ripples that take place. And the image of the moon is fractured into little pieces. You cannot see it. So your mind is like a lake, and your thoughts, the thoughts are disturbing the still image of the soul. The answer lies within. But in order to get to mindfulness, you have to still the bedlam of misery which is created by your own thoughts. Try with inward concentration. Mindfulness is a state where a steady flow of thoughts, without being interrupted by any other thought, is able to place its attention on a particular object. When the mind is undisturbed by any other object or thoughts and is focused and filled with only one thought, bereft of all other thoughts, then you are in a state of mindfulness. This in yogic parlance is called concentration. Okay? This is a state of mindfulness. And yoga, as I've always said, this is one of the states of consciousness. 1/8 of what yoga belongs to. Because yoga is more than just mindfulness. Yoga is an alchemy of totale transformazione. Do you understand what I'm saying? You understand Italian? All the Brits? The transformazione of totale transformazione. The alchemy of totale transformazione. I like it because it's, So, then you get to the next state where your mind is trained and tuned to nature's flow. Mind melts into the opal glow. And when a mind is steadily focused on an object, You're in mindfulness. You're not distracted by anything else. Your mind is full of only one thought. I've given you a clear-cut thing of what actually mindfulness means. It's come from us, the yogis, the source, and it's used by y'all without knowing the true meaning of mindfulness. So I'm getting you back to the source. Then you come to a higher state of soulfulness, where the thought is in a steady flow, concentrating on a particular object. And when you align yourself to the object, and from concentration you go into a state of steady flow with no distraction and no effort. So any concentration done in an effortless way, where in that effortless way you forget yourself and become the object. And when that object reveals to you its inner secrets, when the atom is split, when the code is cracked, when you forget yourself and become the object, that is soulfulness, because that object reveals the soul of its mystery to you. If you concentrate on the heart of another person, you can read him like an open book. It's an open secret. So every heart is an open secret. Every mind is known. So the soul essence of a perfected intuition and effulgent intuition, the mindfulness goes into intuitiveness, effulgent intuition. And effulgent intuition is soulfulness. Have you got it? Can you dig it? Sorry, that's an American face. Then from soulfulness we go to a higher state of inner education. We are not yet enlightened. It's educare. The full light has not come in. The light we are seeing now after mindfulness, when you get to soulfulness, you see the light. First in mindfulness, there's a light with a frosted glass. The glass is cleaned. To soulfulness, the mind flame is there with a crystal glass. And in the third state, the crystal glass itself is broken. The very fabric of mind has to dissolve, and you have to totally enter into consciousness. So the third stage of the education is where you get enlightened into consciousness, is the fabric of mind. What is the fabric of mind's ultimate constitution? The fabric of mind is ultimately made, it is an undifferentiated consciousness of radiant ether. A homogeneous consciousness, a homogeneous mind of radiant light. An undifferentiated mind of radiant ether. When this veil of the mind, light is removed, when even the last thought and the fabric of mind is dissolved from your inner knowingness, then is the education of inner knowingness. You have transcended light and you know yourself as you are, and you have entered divine consciousness. So from mindfulness to soulfulness to consciousness. This is the psychology of spiritual awakening. This book is about the psychology of spiritual awakening. I have in my statement said here, this is the education of inner knowingness. And therefore, we add, although I honor that all these Western countries who gave us this fine education and discipline more so, I add another dimension and offer it to you, called the education of inner knowingness, where we add soulfulness and consciousness. Not only add it in theory, but tell you by the practice of yoga and Kriya Yoga how to get to mindfulness, soulfulness and consciousness, the inner enlightenment. Thank you. In school I used to do education or the elocution also, so this is Sherwood at its best. So when I met Kabir Bedi and these other guys, I asked them, I wanted, Bachchan was there, Bedi was there. So I asked them, which year did you win it? So I said, we don't know. I said, but I won it, do you know that? He said, yes. And I won it, and Bachchan said, I also won it. So I said, okay, I'm just writing 1961 in this book. Because none of those guys, they were all there. And except for Rajiv Dhawan, and they told me so. I have not mentioned it here. I don't think I've mentioned it here. The allocation, no, I haven't mentioned. It was a small event compared to getting out the effort of the drowning. Now I'm going to ask you guys, all of you, to sit at ease. We are one family. It's so an intellectual family reunion. Humanity is our uniting religion. Breath our uniting prayer. And consciousness our uniting God. When I give my UCCs, United Consciousness Conferences, during that time, I give you a state, my state of consciousness. My system of education is to give you a thought-free state where your mind melts into my consciousness, which is originally your consciousness, where your mind melts into my consciousness like a cube of sugar melts into a cup of tea. In America I say coffee because they're more coffee. Here in Britain they know tea as well as coffee. A cup of tea. You know those cubes? Now they don't use these cubes, right? They use stevia or some sugar-free or something. They give it to me also. Pretty tasteless. The Waitrose stevia. Don't take that. No taste. Take some other one. Okay, now I'm going to invite questions regarding this book. I feel there should have been a sample book where they could see it and feel it, and I always feel a book before buying it, and then I see the edges like this. I put my hands like this. My dad used to do that all the time. And then I see how it feels. And then I buy it. It's very difficult. It's my idiosyncrasy. It's an idiosyncrasy. Okay. So now I'm going to invite questions. This is about yoga and the Ashtanga Yoga, which you've heard of also, to further elucidate my point. Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pratyahar, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan and Samadhi. But predominantly about Samadhi. Yoga Samadhi. Anything less than Samadhi is not yoga. So when you come to my retreat and you come to my sessions, I say, come share my Samadhi. Come share my consciousness. Come bathe in the spirit of the yogi. So you will literally feel that you are immersed in my immersion. You are bathing in this light. That's the practical experience. Many of them are here who have experienced it more than once. Many a time and oft. Where is this from? The Merchant of Venice? On the Rialto? Many a time and oft. I have to say that I'm good in reference to context, because although I was a tail ender in school, I remember my English marks were very high and I remembered it. Grammar was very bad. Poetry was very good. That's why I chose poetry. Okay, here's the book. So it's a treasure you can keep for life. Now, I'm going to invite, I think I will start with, it is the participants, the senior participants, must begin with asking the questions to get the ball rolling. Yes.
She wanted to ask a question. She's asking, please.
For me?
Yeah.
What was asking you?
No,
Okay.
please go ahead.
I was asking our friend here that I was telling her that I've been doing meditation for 40 years. I've been doing transcendental meditation, and I've been given the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. I've been practicing them every day, twice a day. But I was just asking my friend, what's the difference between Kriya Yoga and transcendental meditation?
You see, there is no difference between any yoga or the other. They are all complementary to one another. What is the similarity between transcendental meditation, Kriya Yoga, Hatha Yoga, the prayer in the Garden of Gethsemane? What is the similarity between these things? That should be the proper question. And the similarity is, although they have their different stages and approaches, they all blend together They don't clash with one another. They blend together like the colors of a rainbow. Although they are different, they don't clash with anyone. It's a vibgyo. It's so smooth, vibgyo. And not only the different types of yogas, but also the different, religions and philosophies and cults and creeds. The way I look at it is like a rainbow. They blend into one another. You see? And they all complement one another. So this is the answer to your question. How they are different? My answer is, they are not different. They are complementing one another. They are one. They are one. Because the movement is towards harmony, and in the physics lab, if you go, when you're in school, you take 7 colors on a disc and you spin the disc fast. What color comes? White. Hum paradesi ba des bhaye. So that is the one. Jahan har din ho rahi hot. Wahan saptarang pichkar fuar ma nirguna rangi hot. Tare bhai nirguna angi hot. You understand?
No.
Do you feel it? Can you feel it?
Yes.
That's the thing. You got to feel it. As long as you feel as long as you can smell the fragrance of the flower, forget about the name. Those are intellectual things. Intuition is about feeling. So this is about, in a poetry I composed, that in the festival of Holi, we are dancing and spinning around, and people spray the. Do you know what Holi is? The festival of colors in India. You throw water and. So when they spray the 7 colors of the water, I'm also playing Holi and I'm spinning around. And I spin around so fast, I get into the ecstasy of joy, that when I spin, all the 7 colors which are on my white clothes, they're 7 colored, and when I spin again, my clothes become white again. That's philosophy. That's the way to get to God. To amalgamate, to swallow all the differences of the world, to spin it so fast that it's ultimately one color, and then you disappear. Because unless you're one color, he will not take you up. Because you have to get back to the source. And the source is white.
Is the source the unified field? Yeah.
It is actually, that is the first source.
Yeah.
That is where you get, me and my Father are one, me and all religions are one. But then a higher state even than that is the very source is dissolved. The very source is dissolved, and you go into consciousness. The mind itself, the fabric of mind itself is dissolved, because it has a potential for slowing down and bringing back the colors again. So to put a non-return valve on it, you have to cross that state faster than the speed of light. Go into the backward in time phenomena, into the state of the isness of the zero, not zero. We have to use these words for God because we cannot describe Him without a dichotomy of words, because it's beyond human mind. And how can you describe that which is beyond human mind with your mind? Therefore, usually in my other books, I always, in reverence to God, I keep the first place blank. This is, oh Lord, forgive me for writing a book on you, O Babaji. This is, the blank page denotes all that cannot be expressed in words. And that which cannot be expressed in words is the true isness, is the true gnosis. Right? Okay.
How do you propose somebody who hasn't really started meditation or into yoga as such? How do they start? What should they do?
You've already started. I just have to make you aware of what you're doing. You've already started. I have to make you aware. First I make you aware by words that the first starting is that we are all breathing. What is the connectus connecti of humanity? The breath. Because if I say, Our Father which art in heaven, this Hindu gentleman will say, oh no, we want to say Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Then the other fellow will say, Islam fellow, no, that's not right, it's La ilaha illallah. Then the Jewish Yahudin will say Ilahi, Ilahi, Lama Vastani. So their words are different. What is the thing which all humanity, what is the common religion? Humanity is our uniting religion. because we are born human. Breath, our uniting prayer, and consciousness, our uniting God. I've explained to you now, right? So this is intellectually.
Yeah, that means.
But
you said that.
When I tell you that I'm going to breathe through your breath, and when you feel my breath through your breath, then all your questions will melt. They'll say this, he's taken us to a different level because we walk the talk. We are walking our talk. If I say humanity is our uniting, breath is our uniting prayer, prove it. So if I say I can breathe through you and I give you the experience of my breath running through your breath, you say definitely. No other thing can do it but the breath. This is what I give in my retreats. This is what I give in my seminar. When are we having this special seminar?
Saturday.
On what date?
14th.
On the 14th of Saturday, I'm having the seminar where I will give you the technique of breathing through your breath. I will be breathing through your breath. And that's an experience. Only for that it's worth coming, if for nothing else.
No, that's an advanced course.
It's an advanced course. So they can't do it. So then I cannot give it to you. Why should? Then I cannot give it to you. There will have to be one course. Anyway, they'll have to time it. The organizations, look how they've timed it at such a place where it cannot be given. Okay. Now next question. Ask some questions. So your question, you had something else to ask. What do you want to ask?
You said that you have to give it to me. So basically, it's always a guru is required for this knowledge to be awakened.
A mother is required when a child is born to put the lips of the child on the breast. She is the first guru. If a mother is required to guide the child and lay before it the passage for its evolution and its nourishment, and as you grow, a kindergarten teacher is required to teach kindergarten children of when to sleep, how to behave, how to eat. How much more will a Sadguru be required to teach you to cross the uncharted waters of the ocean of life? Certainly. Don't treat it as something bigoted or wrong or as a cult or creed. But logically, if you take it, even a small, from the time the child is born till the very end, you always require guidance. London, England is playing football today. My question is, does England really require a coach to play football and help it to win this? Of course, what a stupid question. But this is one match. Then for the match of life, the lifelong match, is not a guide required? Here is a pitfall, here's sinking sand, there are thorns, keep away from them, go this way. So a rabbi, a rabboni, you know what is a rabboni? A rabbi? A rabbi is the teacher. In Jewish you call a rabbi a rabboni. So a master is the one who shows you the path. He is a beacon of light. It's not a cult and he says, I convert you to Christianity or I convert you to Hinduism. It's nothing at all. It's non-denominational. It helps you to what you're doing already better. And the moment I die unto you with my knowledge, I step aside. Nothing more is done. The water is clogged. I just make away with my things. I take away the clay and the dirt and the water flows its way. He removes the obstacles and gives you the direction. He does much more, depending upon the degree of faith, because he is your very soul essence. If he can breathe through you, then that is a true Sadguru who is your soul essence. Because like you say, hi, give me a hug and all, it's not like, breathing through your breath is not like, hi, give me a hug, is it? It's a culture shock to people in Britain. Nobody does that. So when you do that, I'm breaking your new dimension, telling you, dear souls, is tied. At the level of consciousness, humanity is one. And the cord, the soul essence which ties humanity as one family is the breath. That is the connectus connecti of humanity. Right? So you will experience it sometime. Yes, now next question.
Guruna, you've given us this book, I guess, for a reason. I'm just wondering, what's the best way to use it? How do we penetrate or unite with the heart of it and gain this wisdom?
You see, the beauty of the book is that as you read it, you can practice. Techniques are also given in this. And to make it simpler, there's a chapter of Kriya Yoga in this. So Patanjali Yoga Sutras and Kriya Yoga, you see? And all these meditations, they are one. It's given in this. And then, of course, if you want guidance, I am there to guide you and tell you how to practice this book and assimilate it. Read, mark, and inwardly digest. Right? Here it is. So you will be able to practice. It's the book is not merely for reading. It's not an intellectual exercise. You can practice it. This is important to practice. Anybody else? We came here a few years back, right? Was this the place I came?
Same.
I was sitting here only.
Yes.
Huh?
Or upstairs.
Upstairs, that's what I'm saying. Yes.
Guruna, you mentioned that this is probably the missing piece of education. When you're enlightened view, and we look forward to this being a mainstay of education in schools, so that this is a rule book for personal development. In the same way, staying with the football analogy, that many of those people out there watching the match, they know instantly the rules of football. But here we have this beautiful book on the rules of personal development of life.
Yes.
When can we look forward to schools and education and en masse, if you will, of this being as second nature to people or being taught in schools in the same way that
Every drop fills the bucket. So you should be the first one who should join the school. Set an example, so many other drops will come and the bucket will be full, then the lake will be full, then the sea will be full, and the ocean will be full, and it will encircle the globe. So we finish with ourselves. Let's be generous with ourselves and give God as a charity to our soul and replenish our soul with the spirit and the joy of the Lord. By practicing this, you will be able to practice the joy. In India, that's why I have the advanced sessions, which I don't mix up with Kriya Yoga, because those techniques are not exactly mixed with Kriya Yoga. This understanding should have been clarified. This advanced course has nothing to do with Kriya Yoga, or you will have to have done a Kriya Yoga. No condition is put in India and in any other places. Anybody is allowed to come to the advanced course. But here I don't know under what conditions it must. If they're connected to Kriya, they cannot, because it's a higher Kriya. But this is totally the techniques given by Yogiraj SatGurunath, nothing to do with the Kriya Yoga, to give people an opportunity to experience his breath and get on with the Himalayan teachings, which have no connection that you have to be initiated as Hamsa Sevak, Hamsa Charya, Kriya Charya, or you have to take the first, second, third, fourth Kriya. It has got nothing to do with that. So this is what in the United States also I think it is open to non-initiated people, because I'm not bound to my word given to Babaji that Kriya Yoga will have to be learnt and this is the next step of Kriya Yoga. This is not, I'm just clarifying it, you don't have to change. But there is no harm, even if new people come and learn these techniques, there is no harm, because they have been totally developed and evolved by me with the blessings of Babaji. This is the thing. So these seminars, these classes which are taken have nothing to do with the Kriya Yoga. If you ask me Kriya Yoga questions, I can tell you there. But these techniques are the techniques of Yogiraj SatGurunath. Why a barrier is there, I have not understood myself. Perhaps they will explain to me. Nothing to do with Kriya Yoga. In India, we give it open. In America, we give it open. In Australia also, we are giving it open. There is no barrier that it should be. Maybe there's a reason here that there is a barrier has been put. So Or we can see if we can have if there's a sufficient group of y'all wanting it, we can have a special session for y'all, which is this thing. We can do that. There can be a day. But I would like to know why there's a barrier in this thing, because maybe of a certain not being explained by me properly or something. But in India, we allow everybody, even if it's a first-time newcomer, they come and learn the techniques. So that's that. Next question. What do we do if there's yes? Yes.
She has.
There's somebody here.
I was going to, because I know you mentioned Babaji, but I was going to ask who was your guru who taught you about the practices.
You. You all teach me. You all inspire me. You see, even the disciple is the teacher of the master. If you go with that spirit. So who taught me? Well, spiritually, I was initiated by Shiva-Goraksha-Babaji, to make a short story long. And these powers, these graces which he has bestowed upon me, these virtues of Shivapat, Shaktipat and Pranapat, were Babaji's doings. He enlightened me and initiated me and empowered me into these techniques, and he is a guru of my past lives and even before that. But in the physical world, when I came to this physical world, firstly, I was educated at Sherwood College. My teachers taught me. Whatever they taught me, I absorbed that, and I gave it back to them when I came. This year, a very strange thing happened. Anyway, after my schooling and all, then I went to college. And just in between, I went to Jagannath Puri. There was a teacher of mine who was a great guru. There were two of them. One is Satyanand Giri and the other is Hariharanand Giri. Both of them guided me in this. Then I was guided by Ma Anandimai Ma. So she refused to initiate me because she knew who I was, and when I touched her feet, my hands went through her feet. There was no body. I've given that experience in my book, Wings to Freedom. You may not find it in Watkins because that's not the book we focused on. It is there. Wings to Freedom is there, but today we've come for this. So now, after Satyanand Giri, Hariharanand Giri, Ma Anandimai Ma, then we'd met in the Himalayas near Nainital. There's a place called, before Jolikot, Kaichi. Kaichi, right?
Kaichi Baba.
So Kaichi Baba was known as Neem Karoli Baba. So coming and going, we used to often meet this person when I went to Ranikhet. So these were the people who taught me, and I'm very ever grateful. And swimming, Mr. Johnson taught me. Actually, you're swimming, but when you're then all cockeyed and this, he used to just train us, and by a virtue of our swimming, he used to check us and correct us. Not much, but let us take our own style and then correct us. So all my teachers, they were here, and I'm very grateful to them for what they have taught me. And that's it. And now, I am a servant of humanity. I am serving you. I don't claim to teach you because I don't teach. I'm not a teacher. I catch you, shake you, and wake you up. Sorry, I'm not the person who gives you the menu to read. I don't teach. I awaken. I'm not a teacher that informs. I shouldn't be saying this, but it's poetic, so I'll say it. I'm not a teacher that informs. I'm a master who transforms. To experience it, you have to come. You have to come and take the experience from me. You have to come and take the experience from me. Right? So these were the teachers, and I'm still learning from you all. I'm still learning about many things. The multifarious colors of dresses you wear, the fickleness of the human mind, how easily it is insulted, how easily it becomes happy over little things. The mind we are trying to make deep, an oceanic mind, that even the heaviest catastrophes are not able to shake the mind or cause ruffles. It should regain balance quickly. Equanimity of mind. Equanimity of mind is what we teach. I? Yes. And now we will get on to the... Is there any other question? Yes. Oh, now, Anna's question. Okay, Anna, you're a special person. Come on. Come on, begin.
Who is Patanjali?
Yeah, that's the thing we forgot. Who is Patanjali? You know, that's why I told her, otherwise they'll say, who are you? Who's Guru Nath? Patanjali is one of the greatest yoga teachers. He formulated this book. He's one of the greatest yoga teachers of all time. And he has formulated this book, which even predated him, but he systematized, organized it, and definitely did more than write it. So he can rightly be called the author of the book. But Yoga NS was even before him. The art and the science of yoga is lost in the night of prehistory. That means it comes from another world cycle.